right. Hey guys, Steve here from Blossom Racing, bringing another video to you. And today's episode, we are going to talk about clutch studs and clutches. Basically, how to install this clutch stud. There is a right way and there is a wrong way. The wrong way, your clutch stud will continually back out on you, loosening up your clutch and changing your ET and really screwing you guys up really bad. So here I am going to talk about the wrong way and the right way. In this video also, just so everybody knows, I do not like to use Loctite, and you really don't need to use Loctite. This right here, you take the tip of your stud and you put it into not a sharp point, but put a blunt end on it, kind of angled like that. Okay? So this is rule, or not rule, but this is a hint number one to keeping that stud from coming out. And I'm not an artist, but let's pretend this is the end of your crank right here. Okay, and here's your hole that goes in where you're going to put your stud in, right? So the stud comes out here. Got it? There's the stud. So down inside, here's what it looks like inside. So they come in with a drill. They'll drill it. And since the drill has a tip on it, you're going to get a shape like that at the end where it goes in. Okay? So you see how it angles in like that? And then the next thing they're going to do is they're going to come in with a tap. And they're going to tap it. And since taps aren't going to get down into the very bottom down here, it's going to stop there. Now you're going to have this little bit of space right here that has no threads in it. So you got all these threads, and the very tip of it does not have any threads. Hence, that is why we put the tip on it. So when you run that down in there, it's going to get down in here, and then you're going to force it in harder, and it's going to jam. This tip is going to jam down into there. So I got an engine sitting right here. And we will just kind of demonstrate it a little bit. So just take your stud, screw it all the way in. This one's a 5/16 stud, which takes 1/2 inch wrenches. And I grabbed the 7/16 wrenches. So delete that out of there, start all over. 1/2 inch wrenches, here we go. All right. Take these nuts and just kind of lock them together, right? So once you get them locked together, now we're just going to take and you're just going to thread that thing all the way in. Have a 3/4 inch wrench on standby. Take this, and I'm not down to the bottom of that crank yet. You'll really know when you get there. So how's everybody doing today? Good, good. Hope everybody's racing season went good. All right. So you see the crank just turned on me right there? So it is bottomed out now. It is, that tip of that stud is down in there, connecting right where those threads are not down in the bottom. So that's where we are right now. Okay, so now we're going to take our 3/4, put it on the starter nut, and since I'm doing it here on the table, I'm just going to set it against the table. You're going to grab this, and I'm kind of straight up and down, and I'm just going to turn it, and it got a little bit harder to turn I'm going to turn it some more. It's a little bit harder to turn. You can see the motor's moving because of the pressure. And I'm just going to turn it down in there until it's really kind of snug down in there. Right there. It's getting really hard to turn. Okay. So that's good. That is how you ensure that that stud is not going to come out. Because now down in that void down there where there are no threads, that stud is jammed down in there. So now we just eliminated any chances of this stud backing out on its own. Then you take the nuts off, take your washer off, put your spacers on behind your clutch, slide your clutch on, put your bearing on, slide your washer on, take your first nut, leave your 3/4 inch wrench on the other side, take your first nut, run it all the way up against the clutch, the washer, everything. You're going to take it and tighten it. You're not going to lean on it for everything that you have, but you don't want any kind of slop on the primary clutch. You don't want it to move back and forth at all. If it does, it's going to beat the living daylights out of your primary post, and that slop is just going to get worse and worse and worse. So you really want this pretty tight. I mean, you're not going to lean on it with 200 pounds of pressure. You're going to take that first nut and you're going to tighten it and essentially squish everything together, okay? So go really tight, squish everything together, and then I usually back it off, and then I'll come back in and tighten it again, and then you go about half pressure. So again, you're just pulling it all together. Again, you're not going to lean on it for everything that you have, but you're going to put some good half pressure on that nut up against that clutch. Then you're going to take your second nut, run your second nut right up against the first one. You're going to hold on to that first nut, grab the second one, and cram them together. All right, that's going to kind of lock them together. And then for safety, we always take a third one. Run that third one up, lock the third one up against it. So grab a hold of the first one, grab a hold of the first one, the third one, the inner one, the outer one, however you want to word it, and cram them all three together. Go out to your track, make a pass. When you come back to the pits after that first pass, recheck these nuts and make sure that they're still locked against each other. They have a tendency to loosen up a little bit after the first pass. If you want to check it after the second pass, okay, cool, no problem. After that, it kind of gets a little bit redundant. You don't really need to. But then what I do after that is every race day, pre-race, I'm out there getting my car ready, cleaning it up, checking air tire pressure, just going over my whole car. I'll grab my 2 1/2 inch or my 2 9/16 wrenches at the beginning of my race day, check these things, make sure they're all snugged against each other, and then you should be good for the rest of the day. All right, so hopefully this will help you guys stop the clutch stud from coming out or backing out on you and having your clutch come loose. Those are the tips and tricks on how to secure that clutch stud. Some people like to run bolts. Us personally, we do not recommend running any bolts. I see more bolts come out, rip threads out than I do studs. So our recommendation is a grade 8 clutch stud, 5/16 24 or 3/8 24 is the size that you will need. But make sure it's a grade 8. All right. Hope this video got to you guys and you get a little bit better grasp on this. You guys have a great day. Take care. Have fun and turn on them green lights, guys.